Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you happen to be watching this, welcome back to another Football Manager experiment video on my channel. Today, I'm going to be revisiting a classic for you. What would happen to the Welsh League, and in particular the new teams that enter the Welsh League, if they were for some reason banished from the English leagues and told to go back to Wales. Now, what I've done is I've kind of based this on the premise when the odd Celtic discussion happens that if Celtic had to, if they were to come into the English league, what kind of football, what level of football would they be applying their trade at? And then the old classic case comes out, well, if Celtic aren't allowed in, why are the Welsh teams allowed in the league? So I've decided we're going to do another experiment, but this time I've put in a brand new TV deal, because you would imagine that somebody like BT Sport or whoever would jump over this quite quickly in terms of wanting to promote Swansea, Cardiff, Newport, Wrexham, etc. in the new league. So we've got those four, plus Colwyn Bay as the fifth team. I've relegated 5 teams down to the lower division, so they will be starting life off in the lower division and hopefully getting themselves promoted. That'll be interesting to see. But what I want to find out is who is going to stick around in terms of player sales, who's going to be tempted to stay by European football, because obviously remember that the top teams from each division, the top team and the 3 or possibly even 4 teams below that then go into European qualification. So what players will stick around for that? Can the reputation of the league increase, and what will happen to the club's finances? Because obviously, especially for Swansea, the big TV deal is no longer going to be there. So that will be really interesting to find out. But what I'm going to do now is holiday 1 year into the future, and we will see how our teams fare in the league. Will be quite obvious, but as an overall package of a club, how will they fare, what will happen to them, and what players will move on. But we'll find out in a moment. Let's holiday, as I said, 1 year and see what happens. So here we go then, start of season, or end of season 1 rather. Let's find out how our clubs got on in terms of who won the league, top goal scorers, transfer movements, etc, etc. It's going to be interesting to see how our teams have fared on. So if we try and find the league table, here we go then. So Wrexham have ended up winning the European Place playoff final against Bangor, so they'll be going into Europe next year. But the winners of the leagues are Swansea, followed by Cardiff, followed by Newport and Wrexham. Not much of a surprise there, but I suppose the big shock is that TNS have dropped down all the way into 7th place. They lost 10 games over the course of the season, and it had a big effect on them finishing in the bottom half. And when the league got split, they ended up finishing on more points than anybody from 4th downwards, but they do end up finishing in 7th place. Goal scoring wise, we've got Jordan Ayew, Wilfred Bonney, Sean Mikulski for Newport County, and Oliver McBurney scoring 12. That's a good return for him. And then we've got Bangor and TNS goal scorers. Let's have a look at some of the transfers, because this is where things start to get a bit interesting. Wow, okay, Alfie Mawson going for 2.9 million straight off the bat. That is a big move. When you look at some of the other fees that are going on here, that's a ridiculous fee. Aaron Gunnarsson going for 24 grand. Narsing going to River Plate for 11 grand. Pilkington, Nathaniel Lang, Nathan Dyer. Some of these fees are just ridiculous. They really, really are silly. But some big moves there. Really, really big moves. Some big names going off the wage budget, which I suppose is crucial for some of these clubs if they want to compete in other, as a club go forward, I guess. Let's have a look to see who won what. So it looks as if, so Swansea won the Nathaniel MG Cup, whatever that is. They beat Bangor 2-0 in the final. Let's see if we can go forward. They lost in the semi-final, so I would guess it was Bala versus Cardiff. I would guess, Cardiff 3-0 win in the JD Welsh Cup. So that's quite interesting on that part. And we see some of the other results on here. You can pause at any point if you want to have a look at some of Swansea's results. Attendance-wise, 20,000 at the beginning of the season. Towards October, still at 20,000. And towards the end of the season, 19,000. So the home attendances for Swansea haven't been affected. Have they been affected at Cardiff? Let's go and have a look on that. Their schedule they would be disappointed with a second place finish, but they did win a trophy. So at the beginning of the season, they were getting 18,000, and then throughout the season, 16,000, back up to 19,000 towards the end of the season, 25,000. So the attendances have been a bit up and down for Cardiff, but that's interesting to see. They've still got some good players within their squad. Let's have a look at manager movements. So only 2 clubs swapping managers throughout the course of the year. That's really interesting to see. No one's really pressing the panic button in terms of this particular league in this season. Let's just have a look at some of the reputations for each individual club there. So if we go on to general, or profile rather. So Swansea's finances are now in an insecure position. That's kind of to be expected given the fact that the money from TV deals is no longer coming in. TNS are now secure. Wrexham are okay. Bala are secure. Bangor are secure. So some of these finances are really helping some of these other clubs. Cardiff insecure. Colwyn Bay are okay. Connors are okay. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Secure. Meredith are okay. Newport are okay. So for the majority of the teams in this league, they're now in a secure position. And I guess the extra TV money is now helping them out. 2 teams to go down. Landutno and Merif. I'm guessing that's how you say the names. If I butchered them, I do apologise. So far, because the end of the season hasn't wrapped up, the reputation of this league hasn't changed, but we'll be able to find that out at the end of second season. Colwyn Bay just about survived. So that's season 1. You can already start to see a bit of a pattern about what's going to happen with the finances of the clubs. But let's see how many players stick around for season 2. Let's progress one more year and find out how each club gets on. Here we go then into season 2, and the observant amongst you will see that the Cardiff manager position is currently available. Let's try and find out why that is the case. Let's go and have a look at the Welsh League. And so Bala have beaten Bangor in the Welsh Premier European playoff places. But in terms of a league position, so Cardiff have finished second again, but they have fallen a little bit further behind Swansea than what was the case last season. So that's interesting. But Newport finishing in 3rd. TNS having a far better season, finishing in 4th above Wrexham, which is a good result for them. Bala and Bangor obviously contested the European place playoff. And Colwyn Bay have been relegated, which is interesting. So the first English team to fall casualty in this league. Cardiff Met University have done quite well in their first season, as have Carnarvon, who have also finished in 9th place. Top goal scorers. So we've got Omar Bogle and Tyler Roberts. I believe he would be on loan. Yeah, contracted to West Brom. Stuart O'Keefe and Wes Fletcher. Frank Noble still up there as well. Let's have a look at manager movements. Obviously, well, Colwyn Bay took the decision to sack their manager. Newton did the exactly same town. And, wow, okay, so at the beginning of, or the end of last season, Paul Clement resigned and was replaced by Chris Coleman for Swansea. So that's interesting. And obviously, Neil Warnock Neil Warnock's retired. Okay, that makes sense. That now makes sense as to why he's no longer the manager. Transfer movements, any big fees? Well, no big fees, but a lot of Swansea players been sold. That's incredible. We've got Jordan Ayew, Borja Bastin, Tom Carroll, we've got Rocky Mesa, Kyle Bartley, Wilfred Bonney. A lot of these players have been sold. I mean, who is left in the Swansea squad? So we've got Sam Clucas, Leroy Furr, Charlie Adam, Jose Baxter. They must have signed some of these players during the season. Yeah, free transfer. Quite a few loan deals. They signed Wes Houlihan on a free transfer. That's an interesting one, although he's now going to Bolton, so he didn't stick around for long. That's really interesting. So Swansea have basically sold their entire squad. What about Cardiff? Have they managed to keep a hold of anyone? They have. Cardiff have managed to keep a hold of a lot of their players. So next season could well be the case that Cardiff end up finishing above Swansea in the league. That'll be really interesting to see. But if we have a look at some of the cup competitions then In terms of the Nathaniel MG Cup, that was won by Swansea. They beat Cardiff, so that's a double for them. Let's have a look at the Welsh Cup, see who won that. Swansea. So Swansea won the treble. They beat Aberystwyth 3-1. Were they involved in any European competitions this year? That's a big question. No, they weren't. There's no European places for Swansea and Cardiff, but I would imagine there would be next year. I would imagine so, unless did anybody like Newport County get into there? No, they struggled, especially being in the top half of the league. So let's see whether or not any clubs have. Let's have a look at somebody like TNS, for example. How have they got on? So they got through to the European Cup second qualifying rounds. That's pretty good, although they did lose to PAOK 6-0 on aggregate. Anybody else make? Let's have a look. Anybody else? Who would possibly be in there? Would Bangor be in there? Would they be in there? I don't know. Yeah, they got knocked out in the first qualifying round, so that's not good. What about maybe Bangor? No, we just checked Bangor, didn't we? What about Bala? Did Bala compete in Europe? They were in the Champions Cup, got knocked out, and made it all the way through to the third qualifying round, but also lost 6-0 as well. So some of the teams are benefiting from European competition. I would imagine that we'll see some other, maybe Celtic, maybe Swansea and Cardiff in Europe next year. But let's have a look at some of the financial situations. So we've got Bala as secure, Bangor as secure. So a lot of these teams are now finding that their finances are in a lot better position than what they were. Cardiff are okay. They were insecure previously, but now they're okay. They did sell. Well, they didn't sell that much, actually. That's quite interesting because they're not that bad in terms of finances. Cardiff Met Uni are okay. Colwyn Bay are okay. Connor Quaid, I don't even know how to say that. Newport are okay. Newtown are okay. Swansea are insecure, so they are going to have to sell a lot of players and get rid of some of their wage structure. They're winning competitions. They're winning a lot of trophies, but are the finances going to catch up with Swansea? TNS are also secure. Wrexham are okay. And then we're back round to Bala Town. This is really interesting. I think for the first couple of seasons, it's gone as I would suspect. But if you want to see a part 2 where we find out whether or not the finances are going to catch up with either team, let me know down in the comment section and leave a like, because that is crucial. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know and I will do a part 2. As you can see on here, the reputation of the league has increased. So if it goes up, maybe more European places will become available. I don't honestly know, but that's to find out in part 2 if you guys want it. I found this really interesting. So if you have, drop a like. As I said, leave a comment below letting me know. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these kind of experiments, because I'm going to be trying to do a lot more of these with Football Manager over the next coming weeks. But yeah, as I said, if you want a part 2, let me know. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the experiment, and until we see each other next time, adios.